Who's missing?
Huh?
Just John missing?
What?
John, he's not coming.
Well, people drown here, they have to, like, they don't come back up.
Thank you. Welcome to the Board of Health hearing on May 25th, 2023. This meeting of the Board of Health will be recorded and transmitted by the Information Technology Department of the Town of Barnstable on Channel 18. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, anyone else desiring to make such a recording or transmissions, please notify the chair. See none. We have a long agenda this afternoon. We'll go right into it. The first one is the variance septics. Audrey Nelson's owner and Bob Welch, general contractor, 36 Maple Way, Hyannis, 36 Maple Way, Hyannis maps and / parcel 246-132, 7952 square foot parcel for additions moving septic tank further from the property line. Welcome.
I'm Bob Walsh, representing Audrey Nielsen.
Thank you. Can you go ahead and describe your projects?
Yes, Ms. Nielsen came to me asking for a small addition in the back of the house. And after having certified plot plan, we noticed that the septic system, the septic tank, was a little too close to the addition, where the proposed addition was going. At the time, the septic tank was 4 feet from the property line. We're going to move it 5 feet to the right, and it's actually going to be 5.5 feet from the property line. It's a 1,500-gallon plastic septic tank that we're just going to pick it up, move it 5 feet, put it back down.
Thank you. Staff comment?
Staff has no objections.
Any comment from the board?
How old is the septic
Paul?
tank?
5 years, approximately.
It's only 5 years old?
Yes.
Just remind everyone to make sure they turn their microphones off,
Oh,
please.
You're not putting
Paul.
a new system.
keep your mic on.
You're not putting a new system in.
No, the homeowner's been there
In
5
here,
years.
one of these sheets that says the new system will locate the tank further from property line. So there's no new system.
No, we're just picking it up,
So
moving it 5 feet.
Leaching is where you.
And
got
it'd
the
actually be further away
triangle,
from the property line.
Rectangle.
Yes.
Are you all set? Any other question from the board member?
Motion to approve.
Oh, just 1 minute. I need the public comment. Any public comment on this applications?
Can I ask another question?
Go ahead,
Why
Paul.
do you have to do this? It's still not going to be 10 feet from the line. So you need a variance from the property line for 4.5 feet. Why don't you just leave it where it is?
We're putting a small addition off the back of the house.
Yeah, but it's
We-
6.5 feet,
we
6 feet, 9
can't-
inches away.
Where the addition's going, we're going to be within the 5 feet of the addition in the septic tank. The septic tank has to be moved.
There's a question about the setback from the building to the septic tank. And that's why he is,
Get a variance.
yeah, that's why he need to move that a little bit from there. So, without any public comment, could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
The second variance is Darren Myers and Sons, representing Samuel Mullins, owner, 89 Blue Heron Drive, Osterville, maps, parcel 117-005, 54,693 square feet parcel, repair of failed septic system, requesting 2 variances to setback of BBW. Hello.
Hi, good evening. Darren Meyer & Sons, representing the owner of 89 Blue Heron Drive. Basically, it's a simple upgrade of a failed septic system, 5-bedroom design. Because of the logistics of the property, the topography, the tank and the pump will have to be within 100 feet to the BVW. We provided monolithic tanks in both cases so that we can get out of the potential for water table infiltration. We're pumping to an elevated leach field that's up on the upper level of the property, well outside the 100-foot buffer zone, providing about 6.5 feet of separation to the adjusted groundwater. So the variances are needed just because it's the logical place to put the tank and pump. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Staff comment?
Staff has no objections.
Any board member?
Why didn't you consider an IA system? You're so close to the wetlands and you're close to the ocean. Why wouldn't they put an
I mean,
IA
this is an existing house with no proposed increase in flow. We're outside the 100-foot buffer zone. We're 6.5 feet above water. I mean, most
in
towns, we
an
wouldn't
area
even need to
with-
be before the Board of Health.
DEP wants to have IA systems.
Okay.
I mean,
The owner didn't want to pursue that. If you're telling me I need to do it, I'll go back to them and,
no, well, I would suggest it, but it's not.
no, I know. I just, it's an added expense that,
That's what the DEP's yelling about, is, so, anyhow, whatever.
okay.
No, the only thing I just want to point out, DEP is considering the new regulation. They have not come down to the final regulation yet. So right now on the books, we don't have a requirement per se if you need to change to IA system under these conditions. So that's my read. So, any public comment on this? Seeing none, could I have a motion to approve this septic variance?
So moved. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm against.
Opposed, 4-1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Second, septic system, secondary treatment unit, John O'Day, Sullivan Engineering, representing WS Citrus LLC owner, 147 Superior Road, Osterville, map parcel 070-012, 1.81 acres parcel, no system fails, no new constructions. Interested in improving the system by using a retrofit of a secondary treatment unit, clean tubes, nitro wastewater system. John, this is what you're looking for. Chuck?
Chuck Rowland, Sullivan Engineering Consulting. Yeah, it's a fluid office, so sometimes John is the representative, sometimes I am, so I stamp these plans, and he sent me to the meeting. I have a fairly straightforward project in front of you. It's the two separate chamber nitro, and we'll be having a pump afterwards, and we're keeping the existing D-box and field. No new construction, not asking for any variances.
One thing I'll just point out, there's no sewer planned for this area. So by the time they change to a nitro system, it would be much better if they decide to do so. Staff comment?
Staff has no objection, but they had a question about a calculation. I don't know if you received that message about the size of the pump chamber.
So, I don't ever actually use the size of the pump chamber that Wiggins publishes. They call for 1,000-gallon pump, but I don't ever use that. I actually run the calculations. So just to confirm, I ran the calculations, and a 1,000-gallon pump chamber actually has the capacity of 1,207 gallons. But if that's an issue, I'm happy to change the plan to 1,500. I don't think it's going to change the project's
No, it's
scope
just a
very
question.
much.
Thank you. All set. Thank you.
Any board members?
I
Comment?
think this is great,
Yeah.
you know? That's what it should be. So thank these people.
I
Thank you,
will
Chuck.
let them know.
Yes. We kind of
Mr.
mentioned it
Rowland.
in the, we kind of mentioned it to the owner in this, when they come to the Concom. We're suggesting they're looking at that, so they do. Thank you for that. Any public comment on this? Could I have a motions to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's approved.
Thank you.
5-0. Thank you. The next one is septic deed restriction removal request. Gary Conway, owner, 132 Park Avenue, Centerville, map parcel 207-031, 0.27 acres parcel, located in the salt estuary zone, requesting the Board of Health to remove the deed restrictions. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I live at 132 Park Ave in Centerville. My name's Gary Conway. And in August of 2007, a deed restriction was placed on our house, limiting our residence to 3 bedrooms. We originally thought it was for the pool, but apparently it's for a library that we had constructed. I sent
I'll come back to this.
pictures in. I don't know if, did everyone receive the pictures? Okay. It's clearly a library. It's got big windows on the back of the house, skylights, 3 French doors that enter the space. It's not, there's no closet. It's clearly a library and doesn't meet, I think, your definition of what a bedroom would constitute. So I'm just requesting that the deed restriction be removed. I have no ulterior motive. I just want it to be limited by the same governing factors that limit all the houses in our little area. So
So what is this, taken out of line?
Sorry, I took it out from looking at the old agenda. So let me finish this one, and then we'll come back.
Sure. So, question, how is it
Yes.
to your advantage to remove the deed restriction?
I just wanted to not have a restriction. It's, I'm not sure why the deed restriction was placed on our residence, so we thought it was because of the pool, but apparently it's attributable to the library that we constructed. And
Let me go to the staff and get the background first. Staff.
This, we always give people options when they're requesting a building permit to add more rooms to the house. You can remove a bedroom. You can make a room so it's not private by making a 5-foot doorway opening to the room so there's no privacy. And Title V gives you the option of a deed restriction. So the applicant here opted to take a deed restriction. He did not provide a no privacy room, which he could have taken that option. These are the only options we have. Or buy more land so you can have more bedrooms. Or this case, it meets the definition of bedroom based on the privacy and the size and all the other things that are attributed. I wrote him a letter back in November about the swimming pool, that filling of a swimming pool does not rectify nor obviate the need to record a deed restriction, blah, blah, blah. So this has been going on, as you can see, for a long time, phone calls and letters back and forth. But we treat everyone with the same options. We give everyone the same options when they apply for a building permit.
how would the privacy option have been presented to me previously? I don't recall that ever being part of.
Whoever the
If
health
you
inspector
go
was
to the-
with the builder that came in, they probably discussed all these options, and the builder then goes back to you.
I don't recall it. It may have
So
happened, but I
had
don't
the same
recall
thing
it.
happen with my house. When I
Okay.
bought my house, I went down and was told I had to put in a whole new septic system because it was a 5-bedroom, not a 4-bedroom, because of the office.
Yeah.
And after being shocked by the fact I was going to have to replace the entire septic system, he said, or you could widen the doorway, or you can put a deed restriction on because your office is an office, you're not going to use it as a bedroom. And what's a deed restriction cost? Like
$35.
$35.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the value of the home. It doesn't change anything. The house is a 3-bedroom. It's just saying it's a 3-bedroom, and it allows you to have another room set up the way you want, so you don't have to have an extra large doorway with no privacy, and it doesn't change what you need to have for a septic system. So everybody gets, like Tom said, there's just 2 options.
Okay, well, if all it required of me was a $35 check, I would have written it, but I don't remember that ever being discussed with me.
That's all it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it's,
plus, it's only a 1/4 acre, a little
Correct.
bit bigger than
Yeah.
a 1/4 acre.
Yeah, all the lots in our area are small.
Right,
It's
but
right
the
behind Main
DEP
Street.
wouldn't approve that now. Now,
sorry?
I think you'd only get 2 bedrooms.
Because the land size that you have, only a quarter acres.
Yeah.
So you only technically allowed it for 2. So, but in your case, we are deed restricted to 3. I think it's better to keep it at 3 and then do whatever you want to do in terms of the bedroom wise.
It goes away. This deed restriction can be
It goes
taken
away
away
if you
with
connect to the sewer.
Exactly, when connected to sewer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
When you're connected to sewer, there will no longer be a need for a deed restriction because you can have as many bedrooms as you want.
Right.
Okay, does it magically vanish, or do I have to come back in and
Nope, it will magically disappear.
magically disappear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because we keep track of the record of who's connecting to the sewer.
Okay.
And that would trigger the record of deleting that deed restriction.
Yeah, because that
wouldn't-
deed restriction describes the septic system only. It's in the deed restriction. It's because of your septic system. It's not because of public sewer.
Right.
So it'll vanish in that, it'd be no longer, null and void. It'd be null and void.
Well,
Just won't apply.
let me take
Won't apply,
let me
yeah.
take a step back. It's like when you applying for this connecting to the sewer.
Yes.
There will be a trigger for you to abandoning the septic systems. So the paperwork will follow through and remove the date restriction related to your septic system.
Okay. That was not explained to me previously, so I didn't know that. Okay.
Now you hear it. Now you
Okay.
hear from me.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Well, we anxiously await the arrival of the town sewer. Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
You won't when you get the bill.
What? Just 1 minute. Do you want to withdraw this request?
Well, it seems as though as soon as the septic's, the town sewer is connected, it goes away, and that wasn't explained to me before, so I didn't know that.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
So you're
we can
withdrawing
withdraw
it?
So we got to vote on this?
No. No.
We don't.
No, if the applicant is withdrawing it, you don't need to vote. I'm coming back to the original agenda item, is minimum repair to the septics, the sewer phase 1. Beer vendors, owners, 415 Main Street, Centerville, map parcels 208125. Fail the septic system sewer to this area starts spring 2024. 2 dwellings with 2 cesspool. Main house cesspool failed, requesting using a cesspool until sewer available for 1 person in house.
Thomas White, I'm the owner of the property. First off, there are 2 houses there, and it shows that the cottage is on a Title V. The cottage is not on a cesspool. The main house is on a cesspool, and that cesspool failed. Sewer is going down the street, and so I got plans to do a whole septic system, Title V for the main house. And one of the people that came said, "Why are you doing this?" I said, "I need to get my 90-year-old father-in-law in there," blah, blah, blah. So on that property, which I grew up on, there is another cesspool. That cesspool has never been used. When I say that it's a clean cesspool, it is a clean cesspool. I have this letter here from Doug Brown because I was told late in the game that I needed to have someone look at it to say that it was legit. So he says it's legit. He believes that we can make a connection to that cesspool temporarily for 1 person to live in that house, and my brother who comes to visit once a year for 2 weeks. That's what I'm asking for.
Can you give a copy of your inspection reports to
Yep.
Tom? The reason I make the request is I want to make sure the backup cesspool is working right before we approving the connecting to it. That's the reason I request that.
It may actually be a leaching pit, because on your plan, it does say LP, but we could ask Doug Brown that question. It may be better than a cesspool.
It's a cesspool.
It's a cesspool.
Oh,
It's definitely a cesspool.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
There's dust in it. And it is downhill from the original. The way that it was set up, it was supposed to do an overflow. I grew up there. My father used to have the first one pumped, and that thing never filled up, never was used.
Staff comment?
Just a question. On your plan, I have no objections to what you're doing, because sewer is in first phase for this property. But would it make more sense to tie into the Title V system?
The
That
Title
sounds
V system will have to like tear up the backyard, and why for a temporary thing do I need to tear up our gardens and our backyard and the expense of further and then jogging past to me, it's like, it's a temporary meaning, when that cesspool failed is because we had a sinkhole there that was totally dry, but the car dropped into it. But when you got the car out and you looked into the hole, it was all perfect sand. There was no sewer, there was no, it was crazy. So we didn't have anyone living there because I could make it work. But now, I would just assume this, this is what I have to do. So if I have to put in a Title V system for that house, then we'll do that to get my father-in-law in there,
No,
but,
again, I have no objections.
okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we consider approving it for, say, a period of a year? The sewer is supposed to come in sometime in the spring with the restrictions that the gentleman's proposing.
I would add 6 months to that based on what I'm
6
hearing.
months, yeah.
They're saying they're going to break ground next
1
spring,
year.
and it's a 2-year project.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. On Main Street, Centerville, supposedly, we're breaking ground next spring, and they tell the residents, you're looking at a 2-year project.
I would suggest 3 years then, just to cover.
Plus, hooking up to the sewer immediately when it's available.
Oh, we'll hook up to the sewer immediately because,
I mean, we want to put it in writing.
Oh, okay.
that's all.
No, typically in the last couple of meetings, we have been putting the conditions. If the public sewer is available in front of your house, you have 6 months to connect.
that's fine with me.
Any comment from the board members?
How many bedrooms in the house where,
4.
is that an issue? No. That it's a 4-bedroom, that's.
I mean, he's
connected
going to
cesspool?
agree to only 2 people using.
There's 1, and my brother 2 weeks out of the year.
Right. The other things too, if there is an issues with the cesspool, you can always add some DEP approved chemical to trying to help the leaching of the system. So there's ways to deal with
I
it.
couldn't hear what you said, Tom.
I'm just saying that there is some DEP approved chemical that you can add to
Oh,
your leaching
chemicals.
cesspools.
He has other
to-
options, or
to
he could-
improve the leaching
Yep.
capability.
Or it can
to
always
minimize that.
tie into the Title V if he needs more time,
Right.
if the other one fails. He has a lot of options in the future, but this, I have no objections to this.
Right. Any public comment on this? Seeing none, could I have a motion to approve this proposed connections to the backup cesspool?
So moved.
I'll move that with the restriction.
Oh, sorry, yes. With the conditions that you're connecting to the public sewer
But
when
no,
it's available.
I agree to that
Within 6
totally.
months.
And only the 2 people using it.
Because then I'll be able to remodel that house.
Right.
Because this way I'm stopped in my remodeling.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I won't be able to pull a building permit,
Okay.
which originally I was going to be all right. So now I'm on hold. So as soon as that sewer goes in, then I can remodel that house, which needs to be remodeled.
Right.
I'm not sure it makes sense to say that you can
No.
only have 2 people in the house. It's a 4-bedroom.
Yeah.
If the engineers say it's
Well,
okay with the cesspool and it's only going to be for a short period of time, let's just
I would do that.
do it as straightforward as possible.
Right, right. There's no limit of occupancy on the main house.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So make the motion amended.
So I'm sorry, the motion's going to be for what length of time?
So
saying
the
3
motion,
years?
so the motion is until the public sewer is available. So it could be 2 years, 3 years.
Oh, sure. Okay,
Okay,
then,
for that time frame.
And then they would have to connect within 6 months.
Correct.
Yeah, got it.
so a motion to approve the variance for, until sewer's available with 6 months to connect.
Right, right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
The second one is Doug Brown representing Matt Devia.
Hi, I'm Stephen Knight, the owner of the property. I'm sort of in my retirement years, decided to downsize and sell the house.
Excuse me, who are you?
Stephen Knight. owner of the property.
I'm on a second right now. You're on a third.
Oh, you're the
I'm anxious to get it done. So
Sorry.
back.
I will just start reading number 2.
How you doing?
I'm representing Mendivia and Kimberly Flint, owner, 139 Old Stage Road, Centerville, maps parcel 189-086-001, 0.5 acre parcel, requesting to connect into existing on-site septic system component until such a time that the public sewer becomes available in phase 1. Hi, Doc.
How are you? Actually, what we're asking for is they're going to build a garage, and the septic system that's there has a septic tank, distribution box, and 2 leach pits that are all functioning fine. One of the leach pits is in the footprint of where the garage is going, so we're just asking to abandon that pit, pull it out, and use the other parcels of the septic until sewer comes. They did have a plan done for a new septic, which was going to be an expensive one because it was all under the driveway and everything. And then he went to the meeting, the last meeting on the sewer, and they told him that when sewer comes, he has to hook up. So he basically put the whole job on hold. So I had talked to Tom, and he wasn't opposed to doing a temporary fix like this. There's only 2 people in the house, and with the 1 pit, it's still more than enough for the design flow.
Is that enough for the cottage too?
Yep, cottage isn't even habitable right now.
And are they taking down the old garage?
No, it's not really, the structure that's there now isn't really a garage, it's more of a shed. They're putting in a pool in a full-size garage. I did attach the plans and everything. I don't think he's actually gone for the permitting yet because when he heard that, he just kind of put everything on hold as far as a building permit or the septic permit.
Thank you. Staff comment?
Staff has no objections to this request.
Board members comment? No? Okay. Any public comment on this one? Seeing none, could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Can I have a motion to approve this request? And if it comes, the sewer line becomes, public sewer becomes available, you should connect it within 6 months?
Perfect, yep, absolutely.
Good. Second.
All in favor?
I'll make the motion. You second.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep. Stephen Knight, owner, 122 Sunnywood Drive, Centerville, map parcel 273-223, sewer expected between 2025 and 2028. Failed septic inspection due to liquid level, requesting to be allowed to continue using the system until the sewer is available. Now it's your turn.
Good. I'm Stephen Knight, the owner of the property, joint owner with Susanna Tesmanovic, my partner here. And I'm in my retirement years, decided to downsize and put the house up for sale, and decided to get the Title V done, and then it failed. I got a notice it failed because of the liquid levels in the distribution box and cesspool. And I asked the people that did the inspection how much the fix is, $15,500. Subsequently, I got a note from Sharon Crocker saying it's actually a tank with a D box and leaching pit, whatever that may mean. But I've had it regularly serviced every 2 years since the original purchase. I put in my communication the last time it was serviced was October. That was actually the 2nd year anniversary. Checked my records, it was actually done in December. And the system is working perfectly. The guys that did the inspection said it doesn't need pumping. And then I got in touch with Public Works, and they tell me that at the moment the property will be part of the new sewer system. I think they said it's a design stage now, with construction anticipated in late 2025 and conclude in 2028. So in other words, in about 2.5 to 5 years, the new town sewage is going to come in, and I will be told to connect if the sale doesn't go through and I'm still there. So 15,500, a lot of money for me on a fixed income, and I'm looking for a waiver and to carry on using the system as I have for the last 19 years.
Staff comment?
Staff has no objections for him to keep the septic system until sewer is available. Just if it does become a problem with overflowing onto the ground,
Yep.
just keep it pumped as often as it's needed until sewer comes. That's all I have. Thank you.
You know, there are also state-approved additives that you can have put into your leaching system. And I don't know what the leaching system is. We don't have a plan here, but
It's a leaching pit.
there are state-approved additives for helping to clear that problem up. And I've known people that have done that, and it works pretty well.
A friend of mine told me the same thing. He did that, and it worked for him. So hopefully, yeah, I could do that for sure.
So you said you're selling the property?
I'm hoping to.
Okay, so obviously that needs to be clearly outlined in the sale,
Right, right.
so that they know they need to pump it regularly.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Before the public sewer is available. The other things too, when I look at the inspection report, if it says that there is some solids maybe in the D box, so you may want to have someone come in and check your D box. There is no solid, so that the liquid is not backed up into the D box.
Okay.
Like Paul said, you can add some DEP-approved additives to the leaching pits
Okay.
to improve your leaching system.
Okay, good.
Okay?
Yep, thank you.
Any public comment on this? None? Could I have a motion to approve the continued use of the septic system on this property until the public sewer is available?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is Amber? Oh, Amber is here. Herbicide usage request, Amber Uterholz, the Department of Public Works requesting permissions to apply a herbicide Aquanet on an invasive black locust trees as most successful remedy for site located at 671, 695, and 721 Old Post Road, contoured maps parcel 054-013-001, 054-011-001, and 054-011-002. Good afternoon, Amber.
Hello, Chairman. Good afternoon. My name's Amber Unruh. I work at the Department of Public Works. I'm Senior Project Manager of Special Projects. I'm here today requesting, as Chairman Lee indicated, is a waiver from the herbicide restriction on town property. We have a black locust tree growing in one of our stormwater swales at Cordwood Landing. This tree is only about 3 inches in diameter, and it needs to be removed from the swale. It wasn't originally planted there as part of the stormwater treatment, portion of the project. Removal of a black locust tree cannot be simply cut because cutting these trees actually results in multiple shoots coming up from the stump of that tree. So if you cut the tree, you need to wick it with an herbicide to prevent growth from that tree, and then it will prevent the growth into the future. So what we're going to have structures and grounds section foreman go out there. He's a herbicide licensed herbicide
applicator.
Applicator for herbicides, and they'll perform the work, remove the tree using a wicking method, apply it to the stump. This area is not within any groundwater protection zone. There's no spraying involved, so while there are still abutters within 300 feet of the site, we're not going to be spraying the herbicides to remove the tree. So that's why we're here today, just requesting this waiver.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Staff comment?
Staff has no objections.
This project was in front of the Concom, and we have approved this removal of the invasive treatment. the condition is to have to be licensed applicator to use the chemical. So this is what just want to mention.
You know, I read up on that, and it seems like it's a pretty innocuous thing.
Right.
So I don't think there's any problem.
No. Any other board member comment on this? No.
I'm better off not commenting.
Any public comment on this? No. Could I have a motion to approve for the
So moved.
applications?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. The next is regulation policies. Lena Coleman, Director of Natural Resource, Sandy Neck Park Managers, proposed changes in dog control regulations. Would like the Board of Health feedback. Good afternoon, Nina. Welcome.
Good afternoon. I sent along the proposed regulations in case you don't have them. Nina Coleman, Natural Resource Director. Thank you for this opportunity. We have some dog control regulations that have not been substantially revised in many, many years. It's one of the things I wanted to do when I took over this position, and then COVID got in the way. So I'm excited to bring this before you, make some significant changes to our dog regulations. Just for understanding process, I wanted to bring before a board and have an opportunity to speak to a board and get your feedback. Once this board is happy with these regulation changes, they would go to the town manager for a town manager hearing. At that time, he would open it up to public comment before he rendered a decision. I want to also let you know that during this process of drafting these changes, we reviewed other communities, particularly on Cape Cod. We reviewed both their regulations as well as their fees and fines so we could be consistent with our surrounding neighbors. So I'm just going to go through each of the changes and explain the logic. It is going to take me a few minutes, so forgive me for that. Okay. But starting on page 1, 403-2, we are trying to convert, or have almost successfully converted, all of our licenses at Marine Environmental Affairs over to a calendar year. It's very confusing for our patrons. So right now, our dog permits or tags are on a fiscal year, and so we'd like to move that over to a calendar year. The intent is that right around the first of the year, a resident would get an invoice for all of their permits, including Sandy Neck, shellfish, dog tags, et cetera. So we're working in that direction. The clerk's department is fine. The clerk's office is fine with that. Under E, we wanted to raise our fees for a dog license. It's still pretty low, and I think we all know the goal for our dog tags is to get our dogs licensed. So we didn't want to make the fee too high, but we went with $13 for a dog license, and a reduced rate for spayed and neuter dogs, $10. So it's a small increase. On the next page, under G, oh my goodness, I need my glasses. Under G, we needed to take out a requirement to show proof of certification of a service dog, which is actually illegal to do. We're not allowed to ask for certification proof, so we wanted to take that out of the regulation. And we also wanted to clarify that emotional support dogs do not qualify for an exemption to the dog fees. Although we recognize they have an important role with patrons, they're not trained to lead or support, and so we wanted to make that distinction in our regulations. Under 403-3, this is a little complicated. We looked at other communities because we kind of had this hole in our regulations for folks that live in a residence, in a residential area that maybe have multiple dogs or have a sort of backyard breeder, so up to 2 litters a year. It's kind of this category where they have a lot of dogs. They're their dogs. They're not required to have a kennel license, but perhaps that is a situation where we would like to have some orders put on those on that situation so that we can keep in control of noise and sort of keep the peace in the neighborhood. So we reduced, under this proposal, we reduced the number of dogs allowed at a resident to 3. And the dog's over 4 months old, so you can have 3 dogs at a residence over 4 months old. And then for folks that want to have multiple dogs, so 4 to 6 dogs over the age of 4 months old, we would have this multiple dog license, which is defined under 403-4. So again, that would be for multiple dogs or an area that a resident that has some breeding that they do, not a lot, but up to 2 litters. And it would give us an opportunity to have orders on that and also do inspections. All right, and then under 403-5, we still would retain our kennel license, which, as you know, has to be in a go before the zoning board of appeals. That's more of a business license. Those individuals would need to still obtain that license, and we just changed the regulations to be on a calendar year for that as well. Under 403-7, we wanted to define what restraining a dog means. Before, the language didn't actually say leashed, and so we would get into some conversations with patrons about what it meant to have their dog restrained. So we wanted to very clearly note in the regulations that a dog must be leashed at all times unless they're on their private property.
Do you have any more rationale for that?
So what this really is coming down to is an officer in the field who encounters, say, a dog loose on the beach, and that individual say, it's under my control, whether they're saying it's their voice control or they have one of those e-collars. But that is relying on the pet owner to actually have control. There isn't any backup to that. So we all know what it's like to have a dog run at you. Maybe somebody doesn't appreciate that. Maybe their dog is aggressive. So we need to define that and actually have a leash that they're holding on to. Okay. Under E, we have a lot of issues with dogs off leash. This is one of our main citations that we issue. So under E, we wanted to provide a 2-tier fine for this. So first offense is 25 and second offense would be 50. An opportunity to sort of ratchet up our enforcement if we have a repeat offender. Under 403-8, we added a requirement for a doggy bag for folks to pick up after their pet. So that is consistent with other communities. It's certainly something we hear a lot. I forgot a bag, right? We just, being an officer in the field. And we increased that fee to 20 from 15 just to make it a little bit more applicable. 403-9, this one's going to take a second. So 403-9 is dogs on beach and recreation areas. The old regulation said dogs are not allowed on beaches in basically the summer months. So like, what is a beach? Where is that defined? And that was becoming extremely arbitrary. So we've definitely spent a lot of time looking at this topic. Where do we want dogs? Where is it appropriate to have dogs in our town? And what time of year as well. So first of all, we wanted to change A to no dogs on bathing beaches, and we wanted to change the time from that from May 15th to April 1st. And we chose the date April 1st because that follows the Endangered Species Act, which is the requirement under the guidelines. So many of our bathing beaches have endangered shorebirds nesting, and so we need to be consistent with natural heritage. So bathing beaches are defined in our regulations already. They're your Calmas, your Douses, your Loops, your Joshuas. They're the ones that are under lifeguard control. So those, we would like to have that as a no dog April 1st through September 15th, which not only is protecting our endangered species, but also protecting our community for health reasons. Further, under B,
Question, does that include a leash dog then? You cannot have a leash dog on the beach
right, so,
from April
so
1st?
that is correct, yes.
So that includes a leash dog that you're picking up after?
That
Because
is
If you
correct.
don't have a bag with you, you'll get fined $20.
So it's all, we already have that law in
Right.
place, so.
But how are we protecting, how is letting people walk their dogs in April a problem for the safety of the community?
I think that that falls under, and maybe Tom can speak to this, as a beach manager at Sandy Neck, we have to keep the, people don't pick up after their dogs, and that's about the time of the year that we start doing water quality testing. So my understanding of the bathing beach regulation, which was before my time, was that it is a bathing beach, and it is an area that we need to keep dogs out of for public safety reasons and health reasons.
Well, yeah, actually, the county will start testing in first week of June, or end of May, the Memorial Day weekend to June is when they start testing the beaches. But my question was simply the same as Dr. Let's Go. If the dog's on a leash, you're not disturbing the shorebirds. How does that protect the shorebirds or not protect the shorebirds?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna-
Is your question about health or about shorebirds?
I guess it's about all of it. I mean, honestly, I'm having difficulty understanding if you have a leash dog that you're picking up after, the dog's not going to the bathroom in the water, and the dog isn't free to roam and attack shorebirds. I don't understand. Honestly, I don't understand why you can't have a leash dog whenever you want. Never mind extending it beyond the summer season.
Yeah,
I mean, April and May, nobody's bathing.
yeah. Well, again,
I really don't understand the rationale at all, quite honestly.
okay, so I think that the water quality testing starting in June 1st is why we always had no dogs starting May 15th. Does that sound right? Because
yeah, exactly.
Because I managed Sandy Neck for years, and so we always were told that it was Board of Health that needed us to keep the dogs off the beach for water quality testing.
Yeah, that's
So that's already in place. So what I'm proposing is to change that date for our bathing beaches, which also actually coincide with our endangered species beaches, to be consistent with the Endangered Species Act. So the state is, as you know, coming down pretty hard on us lately about shorebird protection. There's a document called Guidelines for Protecting Plovers and Terns, and that states the date of April 1st. So we were trying to be consistent with that requirement, knowing that that's probably eventually even going to be pushed on us as we continue on with our beach management plans, which are coming down the road pretty soon. So all our beaches are going to have to be reviewed by MESA pretty shortly, and we are trying to get into compliance with MESA.
Yeah,
Can I
thank
ask?
you.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm dogless at the moment, but in a time long ago in a place far less regulated and further away, I had a dog who used to love going to the beach, running in the water, swimming, coming out, soaking me. That doesn't happen in Massachusetts, I gather?
So again, we're talking about the bathing beaches, not all beaches. So like at Sandy Neck, for instance, this is just to clarify how I've always understood it. Our bathing beach is called Bodfish Beach. So it's very specifically defined. We have 6.5 miles of beach and only 200 feet of it are the bathing beach. And dogs are allowed everywhere else on leash.
How about Craigville Beach?
Craigville Beach is a bathing beach.
Okay,
All the
so
way down to the end of Long Beach.
No, sir. Long Beach is privately owned. Craigville Beach is just the guarded section.
Just where the lifeguards are, that's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. It's defined as a bathing beach, and actually is fortunately already in the regulations under the on the beach, the recreation regulations.
So in a place where there aren't lifeguards during the summertime, the dog can actually go in the water and have a good time, or?
It really depends on where you're talking about. Many of our beaches are not town-owned, so certainly any of those beaches, they're allowed. Trying to think of an example.
Plovers on those beaches.
So Long Beach is protected by Mass Audubon.
Okay.
Yep. That whole beach is private. I certainly can add, I mean, I've been evaluating all of these areas, all these townways to water. Be happy to respond to any specific one. I brought that data.
I too, by the way, think April 1st is, I mean, I agree. I'm not sure why May 15th. Nobody's in the water on May 15th either, but I would not support the April 1st. The other stuff, I think we regulate far too much. I think we fine far too much, and I think we're a little too full of ourselves as to how we like to tell everybody to run their lives. But I can understand, and I understand why you're doing it, and you obviously put a lot of work into it. But, you know, I think May 15th is ridiculous because nobody's in the water on May 15th. They're realistically here, not in the water until sometime late in June. So.
And I totally respect that, and I get that as a dog owner myself, but I also wear this other hat, which is as an officer. And I cannot tell you how many people are not complying. I mean, the minute you walk away, they let their dog off the leash. And we deal with both sides of it. We deal with the patron who loves their dog and they want them to have fun out there. And then we deal with the terrified patron that is really upset that the dog jumped on their child or jumped on them. I would say a very small percentage of people actually pick up after their dogs as well. And that's a constant battle for us as well. So you can say these, you know, it should be fine to be on these beaches, but ultimately if a plover is, if a person is hurt or a plover is killed, you know, we are going to have ramifications in this town. And I'm pretty concerned about where we're headed with our MESA reviews. So all of our beaches are going to have to be reviewed by Natural Heritage, and it's not going to be pretty. So this topic, even if this board is not comfortable with April 1st, it'll eventually come around, in my professional opinion.
One thing, Lena, is when you mentioned about the town bathing beach, maybe you can put a reference to what is qualified as a town bathing beach.
Right, there, it's in the regulations under the rec department regulations. There's an actual list of the bathing beaches.
So if you can make a reference to here and say,
Yeah, it says editor's note.
But we don't, I don't see it attached.
It says-
Maybe I'm missing it.
oh yes, lists of the bathing beaches included in that attachment of
Right.
this chapter.
Right. I'd be happy to provide that to you, but it's the big ones, Calamus, Douses,
Right.
Craigville, Covels, Loops, and then a couple of Hathaways, Joshua's. I'm blanking on a few of the other ones.
Yeah.
Real quick, I mean, if we're concerned about, you know, animal waste leading to water quality problems, I mean, isn't having a whole bunch of nesting birds, I mean, we've all seen where you have a ton of nesting birds, it's awful. I mean, isn't that a problem? So it seems illogical to me.
We've had to close beaches because of runoff
From bird
from
waste.
birds.
Yeah.
waste,
Yeah, and shellfish areas as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we good with that?
Yep.
Okay. B, this was interesting. We disallow dogs already from our baseball fields and our cemeteries and playgrounds. And they're all marked that way, but we didn't actually have a regulation for it. So I created a regulation that says no person owning a dog shall have a dog at any time of the year. There's no time restriction in our athletic fields, our athletic courts, our cemeteries, and our playgrounds. And this was under the request of both the DPW and the rec department. I can see you have a question.
I mean, my local neighborhood, I go over to the local ball field and everybody's got their dogs out there having a good time. You mean they're not supposed to let their dogs go for a walk on the ball field?
Absolutely not, no. No, that's a hard no. dogs in ball fields, certainly dogs on the outside of ball fields, but dogs inside a ball field is something that we're constantly struggling with. Again, we're talking about an area that children are playing in. People don't pick up after their waste. It's one of our biggest issues is folks using ball fields as dog parks, and we have a dog park for that. So we direct folks to the dog park when they want to let their dog loose in a ball field. So I have a lot of examples of that being a real problem, and the community doesn't like it either. We get a lot of feedback when we have dogs loose in ball fields.
I haven't seen that in my neighborhood. I
Okay.
mean, I just have seen lots and lots of people out there all the time really enjoying themselves. And, I mean, it seems to me when you have so much regulation that it's being constantly violated every day and there's no way you can possibly keep up with all the violations, it makes you wonder if we are overregulated.
Okay, I'm not sure which ball field you're talking about.
It's the one across from Bay Street Elementary.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Lots of people there all the time. But not when kids are playing, but most of the time the fields are empty. I mean, the vast majority of the time the fields are empty and people just take their dogs there. But, I mean, I'm there just to do my workouts. I don't have my dog with me, most of the time. I have sometimes. I've never seen anybody have an issue with it ever, but not saying dogs can't misbehave, but it seems like it would be more appropriate to have a mechanism to find people whose dogs misbehave rather than not let anybody ever use public spaces for their enjoyment. But I don't know.
I will say that this is how it's been regulated, so I'm doing what's happening in real life onto paper. And again, I'm also doing what's requested by these different departments that I don't manage the ball fields. I have a child that plays on ball fields, but I don't manage a ball field. I don't manage the tennis courts. I don't manage the cemeteries. These are all things that those individuals that manage those properties have asked for. So what we'll do is enforce that regulation. That's our role.
It's a lot of work for you. I don't know how you possibly keep up with that.
All right, so number C would just be a situation where we would have an area that maybe needs a temporary closing to dogs. That would be up to the individual that manages that property. An example maybe is a shellfish landing or a way to water that's heavily, having issues with dogs. We wanted to have a clause that any of these other locations in town could be marked as no dogs, depending on what that department wanted to do for that specific location. We did a 2-tier fine for this as well, 25 for first offense and 50 for second offense. Can we move up? Everybody looks like they're ready to move off of this one. All right, under dog park regulations, we made no changes to that. The dog park is actually running fairly well with few issues. The only thing is that the fee or the fine for parking violation at the dog park needs to be consistent with the rest of the town's violations. So we went up to 40 on that. The rest of the violations are 25. Fine. So the dog park is the dog park is right by Hathaway's Pond. So when it was designed, there was a lot of concern that everybody would park at the dog park and then hike down to the pond to get away from the fee to go to the pond. Oh. So there is a regulation that was already approved that says that if you park in the limited parking at the dog park, you need to use the dog park. So for folks that are abusing that, which happens a lot, it would be a $40 fine to be consistent with the rest of the town. Yep. Under 40311, barking dogs. This one is always, we get a lot of complaints about barking dogs. This regulation, the language was not clear enough in my estimation. It kind of was written that any dog barking was a violation. So we changed it to any dog making a continuous noise audible of 150 feet for over 10 minutes is considered a violation. And we further defined it because we get a lot of complaints and people would want us to address these issues when we hadn't actually observed it. So we wanted to make sure in the regulation it was clear that an officer, a police officer, has to actually observe the barking for 10 minutes, not just that somebody's complaining about barking for 10 minutes. Under 40314, we changed the vaccination requirement to 4 months. So we're trying to be not to be too confusing with too many different ages for dogs. So 4 months for the vaccine, and also 4 months is when they'd be considered like a dog and not a puppy. So it'd be counting towards your to your dog number. So we were trying to not make too many numbers there. So 4 months for the vaccination, and then, as you know, it's 6 months for the license. So that kind of gives a person, a resident, a few months to sort all that out by the time their pup is 6 months old. (403-16), we needed to add charitable or rescue organizations for adoption policy. That's because we deal with a lot of dog breed specific rescues, so we wanted to make sure that they were able to take some of our dogs that we receive and adopt them out. Under 40317, nuisance and dangerous dog, we changed the language there to be consistent with the state. And we went up from a $100 violation of a town manager order for a nuisance or dangerous dog to $200. And unfortunately, we do have a lot of repeat offenders that we have town manager orders and sort of perpetually are an issue, and so we wanted to raise that fee. And 40318 is from the legal department, so I'm not exactly sure what the language is.
What kind of, you said we have a lot of repeat offenders. Just what kind of issues come up with that?
So, so a town manager order is for when we have a dog, when the neighbors want to have more leverage on a dog, like there's a continual issue. Maybe a dog is always loose, or a dog is a biter, or a dog is always barking. And so there's responding with enforcement to that, but then if it keeps going, then the residents can ask for a town manager hearing. And during that hearing, again, there's orders issued to that specific situation. Maybe it's a dog bark collar. So, or maybe it's like, you need to fix your fencing because your dog's always out running around and harassing everybody. So, unfortunately, you know, we have those few cases where we're constantly working with the resident, trying to get them into compliance.
So are they paying the $100 fine?
So say we had a dog that was always loose and we required them to fix their fencing, and then we had a town manager order, and then the dog is loose again, so they violated their town manager order, and that would be a $200 fine rather than a $25 fine.
Okay. But do people comply with the fines?
Not everybody, but that's the goal, obviously. And there's an appeal process for fines as well, so, you know, there's kind of a delay there, but I can think of a few cases where we have repeat offenders over and over, but you generally, I think, you know, you keep ratcheting it up till you get compliance. I mean, that's the goal. So that is all that I have for you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for explaining everything.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Thank you, Lena. So one thing I was suggesting is for the board member to go and look and study this one. And then what I'm thinking of doing is, get your comments together, and then we can have a meeting in May and decide how we want to address the comment on this one. Is that fair to give us time to look at this?
Okay. If anybody has any questions through the chair, certainly send me those along if I can clarify anything before. And would you like me back, Mr. Chairman, on the next meeting?
And the next meeting, I think, is May. Let me see. Do you have to get the approval of the Board of Health?
I do not. This was a courtesy.
Just a courtesy for endorsement and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So I do a lot of regulation changes, and I have board, like we do our shellfish regulation changes with our shellfish committee, Sandy Neck with Sandy Neck. So I was trying to figure out what board to bring this to so we could have a dialogue.
It's May 23rd for our next hearing.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Just a question then. If what we say is irrelevant, why are we readdressing it?
Just to give you a chance to have your comment in, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May what? Let's continue to May.
Going back to the agenda on the temporary food item, the first one is Carlos de la Garza, Flips Citrus requesting 3 foot, is it? No, sorry. Foot variance, Richard Dermody, owner of Bites and Creekville, 974 Creekville Beach Road, Sanderville, maps parcel 226-006, toilet factory variance, toilet facilities, variance request.
Hi, thank
Hi.
you. We're the new owners of the building, or not the building, of the business.
Can you identify your name for the record?
Richard Dermody.
Okay.
Thank you. And we just want to keep the operation of the building the way that it's always been. It's a change of ownership, so we have to come before you to have this variance approved.
Staff comment?
This variance, as you know, was granted before with a previous operator of the food establishment. As you can see in the attached letter. Do you have the attached letter?
No, I don't.
Dated June 2016? The reason I wanted you to see that letter is if you decide to use the same conditions, you can for the vote, but we have, staff has.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Staff
There
has
is one.
no objections, but you, for example, the number of seats are restricted, for example. You may want to use the same conditions.
So on the previous approval variance request form, there is 4 conditions. One, the seating for the patient is not authorized inside the building. Only outdoor seating is authorized. And second, no more than 20 seats are authorized outdoors. 3, the seating shall not be provided whenever the public restroom located across the street at 988 Creekville Beach Road are closed. Seating may only be provided when those public bathrooms are available. 4, this variance may be revoked at any time the operator failed to comply with the conditions of these variances or any time unsanitized conditions are observed. And the last one is this variance decision letter shall be posted on a wall adjacent to your food service permit in an easy accessible locations for viewing by a health inspector during inspections. Those
Yes.
are the 5?
Yes, sir, yes. So,
I'm not going to take part in this. The owner of these buildings is a friend of mine.
Thank you.
the reason for number 3 is the bathrooms across the street are not always open at the public beaches the same hours as the restaurants. So we want to make sure they remove the seats or close at the same time because they're depending on they don't have enough bathrooms at this facility, so they're depending on the public bathrooms as well. That's the rationale.
Those 5 variances that I just read that in there. Do you have any issue with that?
No, it's the same that it's always been. We want to operate the same way that it's always been.
Okay.
Motion to
Members,
approve.
comment? That's good.
Fine.
Any public comment on this? None? Could I have a motion to approve this variance with those 5 variants that I just read in the record?
Motion to approve, yeah.
All
Second.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0 with Paul recuse himself.
Yes, thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The second one is Tony Vincingis, representing Mary Ann Taylor, new owner of the Barnacle, 988 Creekview Beach Road, Centerville, maps parcel 226-005, toilet facility variance request.
How do you do? Tony Ninavaji. I own the property at the Barnacle, 988 Craigville Beach Road, also 974. And I'm standing in for Mary, who happens to be on vacation. And just want to keep the things the same as Rich and Tom here stated in the previous case. We agree to everything in the past. It's been the same for the last 10 years. And Mary is not changing a thing, not even the menu.
Staff comment?
If you look at the August 2014 letter, we asked that you include only conditions 4 and 5, 6, and 7. But what's missing from this list is the condition about removing the seats when the beach bathrooms are closed across the street from the other letter. That should be part of this, in my opinion, but that's up to the board. Because there's only one restroom available for the 37 seats.
If I may, it was my understanding that if we allowed them to use the bathroom, the public to use the bathroom, we were okay. And that's pretty much what we do, other than the year of COVID.
Okay. So let me just mention it. So when you mentioned 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then
Actually, I'm sorry, not number 7. Just, yes. Oh, yeah, that's a common. 7 is a common condition, not transferable to another owner
Right.
or leasing, yes.
Right.
4, 5, 6, 7, yes.
so let me read into the record so that you know what it is. The fourth is at least one toilet facility shall be provided on site for patrons. This requirement is a condition of the variance, which shall be provided in lieu of the requirement to provide 2 separate male and female toilet facility for the male and female patrons per section 322-4 of the Town of Barnstable Code. The second one is a sign shall be conspicuous posted which states that the bathroom is available to patrons and indicating its locations. The next one is no more than 37 seats are authorized. This equates to approximately 6 picnic tables, depending upon the length of the table. Next one is the variance is not transferable to another owner or leasee of this establishment. The last one that you want to add is the seating shall not be provided whenever the public restrooms located across the street are closed. But this one is closed. If this one is closed, because it's 988, right?
That last one? So 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then you put in another one, Tom, is that?
To match the other.
To match the other one.
restaurant.
If I may, why do we have to match the other one? It's been this way. We even put a separate door in the rear of the building for the public to access so they wouldn't have to walk through the kitchen. When I first bought the property, a patron would have to walk through the kitchen to use the bathroom.
So is it just one bathroom?
Just
or
one
2?
bathroom.
And the other restaurant next door has one bathroom?
One bathroom, which is also handicapped accessible.
So I was just matching the same conditions, but, so I'm misunderstanding why that doesn't make sense. This restaurant has more seats than the other restaurant.
Right. So, doesn't it say there the patrons are allowed to use the bathroom? Pretty much to me, it's any time when we're open.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would eliminate across the street being closed, I would think.
But this condition is reference to 988.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I agree.
Right?
But my question, should this apply to 944?
This is 988.
Oh, so they got the wrong addressing.
Correct.
Oh. I understand, now I understand. You're saying the seats at the restaurant. I was talking about, not the seats. You're talking about the bathroom at the other restaurant. You're talking about sharing bathrooms between the two restaurants next to each other. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
No,
No.
this is not. So I don't think this applies.
So across the street, the public beach, they have public bathrooms.
Correct.
When, at the end of the day, when that closed, your restaurant's still open for
Correct.
dinner. So
Yes.
the concern was there may not be enough restrooms for male and female patrons because you only have one bathroom. That's where I was coming from.
Have we ever had an issue?
I don't know because I'm not there at dinner time. No,
Have we ever had a complaint?
I don't think we have.
I can honestly say no. In the 10 years I've owned the property and the building and run the business, never had a problem. No. We even allow them to go in and change clothes if they, if they need be. They come off the beach and they're freezing, they're allowed to come in and change their clothes. And we keep it clean. We
If
keep it
that's the
clean.
case, then I'll just keep 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's it.
Yeah, if that's what the board wants, that's
Yeah.
fine, yeah.
My bias would be to keep it the way it is.
Yeah.
If it hasn't been a problem,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Agree. Any public comment on this? Seeing none. Could I have a motion to approve this with those 4 conditions that I read into the record?
so moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay.
The third foot variance is Alex Tomigos, new owner of the 4 Point Tavern at Hyannis Inn, 473 Main Street, Hyannis, map parcels 308084, requesting a grease trap variance to allow an increase in seating from 66 to 97 total seats. Current grease trap is 1,000 gallons.
Good afternoon. How's everyone? Yeah, same new owners seeking the variance that the previous owners had to increase our seating as we look to open for our first season here.
Staff comment?
This is on public source, so the request cannot be supported by the health staff nor by the DPW town engineer, because the grease trap is limited to 66 seats based on its small size.
For the seating capacity, I calculate 1,000 would be 1,000 gallon is only good for 66 seats.
Correct. The previous owners were able to get a variance for that to get over the 90 seats, and I was hoping to seek the same thing.
DPW approved that?
No.
What year was that, and what paperwork do you have for that?
I don't know. The Board of Health provided it to me when I first took over and applied for the health license, and they said that I should apply for the same variance this way as well.
I don't have that.
I believe that variance is from 2018.
I don't have any paperwork with that.
No.
Okay.
Can we maybe
Is it
continue this
possible-
while we figure it out?
Is it possible that was just a COVID era?
If it was during COVID, we did
It's
not
before
restrict.
It was
seats.
before COVID. It was before COVID, yeah.
Or COVID?
Yeah, that doesn't
Before
make sense.
COVID? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we just had a restaurant
It
here
says there was a
last week
variance in
that,
2018. Do you have that?
if the DPW doesn't agree to it, then there has to be some sort of a rationale.
I think we have to,
Yeah.
we have to look into the record for that.
I don't have any record of that.
Yeah.
Sharon doesn't have a record of that.
Sharon, that's why I sent it to you, though, but it was sent to me from Diana, that it was on record of a previous variance, that I should apply for that as well with my health permit.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what the variance was. Can you tell me? I missed.
Sorry,
what
it's
they
the
were
variance
describing.
to increase the seating capacity from 66 to the
97.
97, excuse me, that the previous owners had, and they had that variance. And I'm the new owner seeking to continue the same and keep my seating capacity the same.
I'm remembering something, but I'm thinking it wasn't approved. Let's see. Hold on.
Without the information, I want to table this to next month so that we have, go into the record and find out exactly what happened.
Well,
All right,
I can
that's
tell
for
you
the
that
new owner. It's in-
DPW does not support, even, it's a
Understand
new,
that.
and it's a new owner, correct?
Correct.
So
That's
it's not-
why I'm reapplying, because the variances aren't transferred.
It's not transferable anyhow.
And generally, DPW has not been supporting
Okay.
variances for people connected, excuse me, connected to the public sewer. So it's a bit odd that, and I don't believe they were in 2018 either, so.
They were not, no.
This
No.
sounds very odd.
I was just going to ask, is there any insight as to why they had it before? You know,
There wouldn't be any.
It hasn't
insight
been
why they had it
consistent
before,
with,
no.
okay.
I don't know, Paul, you were chair back then, I think. Do you remember? I mean, we were still following what DPW recommended, I think. Yeah. So,
If you go way back,
but 2018 isn't way back. We
if you
should be
go
able to
back
find
even
that in minutes or something.
maybe 10 years or more back, the Board of Health allowed internal GRDs, but that's no longer, if it's on public sewer, it's no longer. Yeah.
Right.
So maybe I'm incorrect on the date, but I mean, I was given that information from
Dan.
the office. That's how I even know the variance existed. So that's why I'm here today to present, I would assume.
So if the DPW isn't in favor
Sure.
of having a grease trap that's inadequate for the number of seats that the restaurant has, there's really no logical or good reason for the board to go against the DPW.
Okay.
They're just, I mean,
No, that makes total sense
Yeah.
with the way you phrase it like that. I'm following my instructions from when I filed my health
Yes.
permit. Okay, go, make sure you get this in by April 10th, so you're on the docket for this meeting.
I understand that, but then the thing, just like Dr. Oscar was saying, is, the grease trap sizing is depending on the number of seats, 15 gallons per seat. That's how
Correct.
you calculate the 66.
Right.
I did that calculation. So you cannot oversize that. I mean, you cannot undersize.
Right.
Okay, the grease traps. So to us we have to kind of looking at that and then agreeing with the DPW that you need the proper size for grease trap if you want to go up to 97. But right now, you're limited 66. That's it.
Totally understand. Just trying to, I guess, find out why the previous owner had the seating that I need to run my business.
Yeah. But right now, that variance is not transferable.
Correct.
Okay, so right now, we cannot really grant you that variance at this point.
Okay.
Okay?
Is there a way to review the previous variance so we can find out why, and maybe there is some sort of insight as to?
I mean,
You can ask the office and
we
see
can,
what-
we can do a full file research.
It's not.
No, they had the variance to have 97 seats. I'd just like to get to the seats that they had. Correct, yeah.
and you probably bought the business with the assumption that I would have that many seats
There you go.
from my business.
I didn't even know the variance existed until the board let me know. Make sure you're on the docket for the 24th. Okay.
That's hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
For now, you have to go back to the office and check with Sharon.
Okay.
And see what is the backup information.
Okay.
We can give you an update the next meeting as well, once we find,
Yeah.
if we
Yeah.
find any files, yes.
Yeah.
But I have to go to DPW too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Okay?
All right, so I'll email you and we'll start figuring out why they had a variance and see what we can do. Thanks for everybody's time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Are you voting to continue this or to withdraw this? Which one?
Move to table it to next month.
Table?
Yeah, just table it into next month to get to some reasoning.
That's hard.
1 second, yes.
Second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we table that to next month. So temporary food permit, Carlo de la Garza, Flips Citrus requesting 3 temporary food permits, 6 days each, for the Flips Citrus events to be held at Cape Cod Mall, 180 Farmers Road, Hyannis mapped parcel 311-001 for April 28th to May 15th. The menu including hot dogs, nachos, cotton candies, popcorns, pizza, churros, funnel cakes, snow cones, soda, and bottled water. Hello.
Hi, Alexa Vasquez representing Carlos for Flip
Okay.
Circus. And we're wanting the permission for opening the concessions, like you said. It's a circus. It's going to be in Cape Cod Mall for 3 weekends. We sell the nachos, hot dogs, cotton candy, funnel cakes, churros, your basic healthy stuff.
Staff comment?
The state
What?
State of Massachusetts regulations limit the number of days to 12, and you're asking for 18 days.
Yeah, we extended the season for a few more days.
So that's the only concern I have.
So our limit is only 12?
I'm sorry, it's 14 days. They updated, it used to be 12, now it's 14 days. The state code.
14 days for what?
14
total.
consecutive days. So I suggest that a day be, if you want to pursue the 18 days, that you may want to take a day off somewhere in that consecutive.
Okay, so I'll let
But
them know.
that's just, it's not a town code, it's a state regulation.
Right. So total, we can only give them 14.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, 14 consecutive days. So if they put a day in the middle there, then it becomes a non-issue. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
Pick a rainy day.
Okay.
You come every year, right?
Oh, it's the first time we're coming in.
It's the first time you're coming, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's circus, pretty much every year, so
Yeah.
I would think.
No, the
So you're not
circus,
familiar
yeah.
with the 14-day requirement?
No.
Okay.
First time.
Okay.
That's a state requirement, 14 days?
Yes.
Yeah.
For temporary food permits.
When it's in the room. So do you know when you'd want to take a break, or you want to think about it?
We will have to think about it then.
Any other comment from the board member? No? Any public comment on this? No?
If we take the day off, then we can do the 14 days, right? You said?
What was that?
If we take the day off, we can do the 14 days?
You reset
Okay.
to day zero.
Okay, we can do that then.
10, day off.
Yeah.
Right. So could I have a motion to approve the total of the 14 days?
So move.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. So-
So 17 days, taking a
Day are off,
Day
yeah.
in, yep.
What is a day? Is it a day, 24 hours, or?
Depends on when they're open. It would be a day of when they're open.
The show is 2 hours, so it's like from 7:30 to 9, depending. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the 14 ones.
Do you want to make a motion to approve 14, a break somewhere, and then 3, or a total of 14? How do you want to make the motion? She's asking for 18 days. Do you want to still approve 18 but give a break somewhere in between? Or do you only want to give 14 days?
I want to stay with the 14, well.
Oh, 14
actually,
max.
14-day max. You done?
But not the additional 4 after that with a break? in
How about a
between?
motion that we recognize that they're going to run for 18 days and that they can do no more than 14 days continuously?
Yeah, that would
And
be-
choose a day to take a break within that 18-day period.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And there was second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So you got it.
Okay.
So you
Thank
need to
you.
take a day off in between.
Thank you.
14th. The next one is Jessica Bolbach, representing Funbox, is requesting a temporary food permit for the Funbox event at Cape Cod Mall, 180 Falmouth Road, Hyannis Maps, parcel 311-001 for Saturday and Monday during the months of June and August. The menu will be slow cones, self-serve syrups, and bottled water.
Yep. Hi, how are you doing? Good afternoon. My name's Jess Ballback, representing Funbox. Just a little bit about it. We're the world's largest bounce house. We're going to be operating actually in the same place as the previous case, selling just small concessions, just snow cones, bottled water, and Gatorade. And that's about it. So we're just here to apply for the temporary food permit. And the only thing is that we are going to be operating for 6 days in a row. Potentially less. We just don't know what the traffic will be like, so I want to make sure that that's noted.
Okay.
And here, I believe it says Saturday through Monday, but it would be just 6 consecutive days at a time.
That's confusing. Saturday
Yeah,
is not 6 days.
I don't know why that was in there like that. When I read it too, I was
Oh,
confused.
was supposed to be Monday through Saturday, not Saturday through Monday?
Yeah, just 6 days in a row. Probably not Mondays.
So you're not, are you there Sunday or not?
We'll be there on Sunday for sure.
You're not there Monday?
Probably not.
So that you're there Tuesday through Sunday?
Yeah, that would be more accurate.
Tuesdays through
When I
Sundays.
first read it, it took me a couple of minutes. It was like, this is counting on
It's
my
gotta be
fingers.
changed. Tuesdays. Yes.
Yeah.
Whoever filled out the application, I think.
That might have been, yeah, probably the guy who does it on our end. He probably made it oopsie. So apologies for that confusion.
Staff comment on this?
As far as food, there was a question about the syrups with sugar attracting flies, but I understand the table will be underneath a tent with sides on it.
Yep, it's underneath the tent. It's all contained. I have a drawing of the layout if you want to
Because
see.
it says self-serve
So in the
syrups.
past, what we've done, it is a franchise, so we follow pretty much the same protocol from location to location, obviously with whatever state rules and regulations there are. So in the past, we've done both options. We've done either a self-serve, kind of like a flavor station, so similar to how you'd get like a Diet Coke at a McDonald's or something, you go up and you help yourself. It's all portioned out, the 1 ounce that you need for the 6 ounces of snow cone. But if that's a problem, we can also just do it and have the staff administer the 1 ounce when they serve the ice.
On your plan, the hand wash station is out in the parking lot, but the snow cone machine is, employees are behind this table.
The hand washing station is inside of the tent.
Oh, it shows it outside on the plan. You need to have it, it's not for the customers, it's for your employees to use, so it should be
Right. Yeah, it's inside for the employees.
You have the same plan? Shows it over here, but the table's over here. So this should be moved inside.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, a different plan. Okay.
Yeah, you should have that.
Didn't have that one. Okay, thank you. And the board understands this is an inflatable park, so the only question I have is, how often do you clean the surfaces and sanitize where the kids are falling into plastic with their face and so forth?
It's done daily, so every night it's deflated.
Oh, you better go to the
You want to
mic.
talk to the mic?
So it's done daily, so every day before we close, it's deflated and then inflated in the morning before we open and cleaned.
You're thinking?
Yeah, if you, does the board believe once a day is enough for that?
Yeah. You could get it to every 15 minutes with kids, but I
It
mean,
would still transfer viruses. and-
yeah, right.
Right,
It-
right. No, 1 day would be fine. Any other comment from the board member?
Is there a state regulation
Not-
to follow on it? I mean,
Not
do
that
we
I'm aware
actually
of.
have
Well,
something
if-
without a state regulation?
Actually, if there is fecal accident or vomiting accident, there should be quick action to close that ride,
Yeah, they would
that
close
down.
it and sanitize it for sure.
yeah, not wait till the end of the day.
Yeah.
That should be.
And they've had that situation at previous franchise locations. I own this with my brother, and he owns 3 of them now, so he's experienced it all.
Any public comment on this one? Seeing none? Could I have a motion to approve this temporary permit?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
the
you.
time.
And Kennedy is applying for a temporary food permit for Tales of Cape Cod event at 3046 Main Street, Barnstable, maps parcels 2023-071 on May 15th at 7 to 8:30 p.m. The menu includes raw oysters, crackers and chips, lemon squares, clam chowder, and seltzer water.
Sounds
Hi,
good. Hi, how are you? I'm Ann Kennedy. I'm a member of the Board of Directors of Tales of Cape Cod. I'm the program director. And every year we host, Tales of Cape Cod is a nonprofit that's located in the old Colonial Courthouse in Barnstable Village. And every summer through fall, we offer weekly programs to the public. And this year, we're beginning May 15th, and our kickoff program is Sandra McFarlane, who is a coastal conservationist from Orleans. And she's an author of the book Swirling Currents, which is about the history and the challenges of shellfish farming in Massachusetts. So we thought that would be nice to have as a reception after her talk, shellfish and clam chowder and things along that line for the public. So we probably will have 55 to 80 people in attendance. And we do charge admission for the program. So I'll answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Ann.
Yep.
Staff comment?
Hi, we have no objections. It's only an hour and a half. Just to make sure you have the warning sign for the raw oysters. There's a
Yep.
state warning sign about consuming raw shellfish. And maintain the clam chowder at temperature during transportation,
Yep.
et cetera. Thank you.
Any board member comment? No?
Sounds good.
You're all
Any public
invited.
comment on this? Yeah, oyster is good.
Okay, so you're all invited, and if you'd like, I'll send you each a program so that you can come to our other programs as well.
Could I have a motion to approve this temporary food permit?
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The last food temporary permit is Sonny Feldman is applying for a temporary food permit for a Way with Words event at the Hyannis Village Town Green, 367 Main Street, Hyannis, map parcel 326-021 on May 27th from 3 to 5 p.m., currently with only one vendor. The Caribbean Lounge. The menu will be rice, stewed chickens, seasonal vegetable, fried chicken, and stewed pork. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Sunny Fellman. I am a board member of Amplify POC, which is the nonprofit, one of the nonprofit organizations putting on this event. It is our third time having this event. It'll be at the Village Green, but it is our first time wanting to offer a food vendor. So we are here. We're working with Alana Boda from the Caribbean Lounge, which she has a place right up the street. She was here, but she had to leave, duty calls. So I'm here to answer any questions you have. I have her on the phone, speed dial if you have anything you need, but she does have a permit, obviously, with the town already, and she's done catering before.
Thank you.
No?
The staff comment?
There'll only be one food vendor at this location, correct?
Correct.
So I guess we just want to make sure they maintain proper temperatures of the TCS foods, temperature control foods such as chicken and pork during transportation and on site. That so the ServSafe certified person, or actually would know what the temperature requirements are. So we have no objections. Thank you. Will she be on site?
Yes.
Okay, she has to be on site if she's the only person.
Any comment from the board member? No.
Looks good.
Any public comment on this? No. Could I have a motion to approve this temporary food permit?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
We're getting to the body art and new establishments and artists.
Page 2.
The first one is Johnny Sarah Massa, owner of the new establishment, Pigmenta, Permanent Cosmetic, 328, also known as 330 Main Street, Hyannis, map parcel 327-092 for permanent makeups. Hello.
Hi, I'm John Ann Saraf Massard, and I am the new owner of the Pigmenta franchise, and I have my establishment at 330 Main Street in Hyannis. This is my first time doing anything like this, so I'm not sure what to say or what to do.
You tell us what you're asking for.
Oh, I'm asking for licensing. I'm the business owner, so I do believe I need the establishment license, and then I have my technician, Anna Carolina DaCosta. She is my technician. She's the woman who will be actually performing.
Yeah, this permit is for the body establishment permit, right?
Yes, so the first one is to approve just the building and the floor plan with the hand wash, sink, et cetera, if it's on, for the building. It'll be inspected by our public health nurse. And then the second one is to approve the practitioner who has had some training, required training. So that would be, if you want, that's correct. Do you want to take them one at a time? It's up to you.
Yeah, we can take one at a time. So we'll do the building first?
Yes.
Any public comment on this one? Any board member comment on this? Could I have a motion to approve the body establishment building permit stuff? Is it building?
It shows a sink, some cabinets, instrument stand. So I assume you're disposing of whatever's being used to
Yes.
insert the makeup
Yes,
permanently.
I
Okay.
have the hazard box. I've forgotten to dispose of.
You're not reusing anything that requires an autoclave?
No,
Okay.
everything is disposable.
Make sure you have dispenser soap, paper towels at the hand wash sink, and it'll be inspected by our public health nurse. Okay. So no objections.
Okay. Yeah.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's approved.
Yep.
And now with the technicians?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Anna Carolina DaCosta. I have been apprenticing at Pigmenta Cosmetics for the past 2 years. I've also done the 100-hour course that you need for the permanent cosmetics. I've done a couple models every month since I've been apprenticing also. I do have like my first aid. I'm in the process of getting all my hepatitis B shots, and I have done the bloodborne pathogens courses also.
And you have completed the anatomy and physiology.
Correct, yes.
And skin course by Save Each Life, which this board approves of.
Right. So you all side with that?
Yes, no objections.
Any comment from the board member? No?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Thank you.
One of the third one, the body artist, Alexandria Holton, body artist at Black Pearl Tattoo, 505, also known as 509 Main Street, Hyannis, map parcel 3089093, has completed course Save Each Life, anatomies, physiology, and skin care course for body artist practitioners to work as apprentice under the supervisions of Annika Travalis.
Travassos.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Do you want to turn on, make sure the mic is on when you speak?
Good afternoon.
Mic on? Yep.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Is your mic on? Green light. Make sure your green light is on.
The base, yeah.
Not sure.
There we go.
So, do you
Staff
want,
has no objections. If you want to do your I'm sorry, do you want to do a presentation first?
This is Alex. I am Alika Travaso's Black Pearl. I want to take Alex on as an apprentice for tattooing, strictly just tattooing.
Okay.
She already has some experience. The person that had taught her, there was complications, they meet standards, so she's going to start over underneath my guidance.
thank you. Staff,
No objections.
board members? No?
Tattoos only.
I wasn't able to finish the reference checks on these last two items, so just to let you know, just so you put that in there, that as soon as I finish making calls. But everything looks good.
Okay.
All the paperwork's here.
So we can, pending on the reference check.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
approve. The last item is body artist and Sandra Cleary, body artist at Black Pearl Tattoo 505, also known as 509 Main Street, Hyannis, map parcel 308-093, complete courses at Cape Cod Community College, Human Anatomies and Physiology self-paced tutorial. No experience to work as an apprentice under the supervisions of Annika Traverses. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
The staff has a question. We specify how many hours an exam. This is a self-paced tutorial.
Right.
How do we know if it meets our criteria?
Excuse me, we went over this last April. One of the doctors, I believe it was you, sir, actually checked out the credentials of the Cape Cod Community College self-paced one, and it does meet the college credits.
Oh, that's right, it was more than 2 or 3 credits?
Yes, it was 4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of that. It was a staff question, from staff, yeah.
How about the reference check? You have to finish that, right? Okay.
So another motion to approve pending the reference checks?
Yeah.
Seconded?
All in favor? It's
Aye.
approved. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
We have one set of minutes. The first one is moved to May 20-something on that first minute. The second one is March 28th, right? Do you have any questions on the March 28th one?
Yeah, on the second page, the 1, 2, 3, fourth paragraph down, supply 4 plans for the barn. Did you get those, Tom?
No, I did not see that yet.
What paragraph down?
He's not correcting the minutes, he's asking a question. But no, I haven't seen
He hasn't got them?
I haven't seen it yet.
Can you call him?
Yes,
That's Dan Ojula? No, Daniel Gonzalez,
right.
down Cape.
I'll
The
check
barn
on,
will be used as a workshop with no living space in it.
I'll check that tomorrow online, the online permit. We get so many that I can't remember, they blend together sometimes, I can't remember.
Right.
Fair. That's fair.
Could I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes of March 28th?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We don't have any update in terms of the policy. The first one is the deadlines to connect buildings to public sewer. And then the second one is the temporary holding tank at locations where public sewer will be provided at the near future within 2 to 3 years. I sent an email request to DEP, and asking him whether the DEP would be supporting that temporary holding tank policy. I haven't got anything yet. Back
What's the
to,
difference between a temporary holding tank and a tight tank? I mean, you don't need to get DEP approval for a tight tank.
Yeah, well, DEP won't approve a tight tank for what we're trying to do. So that's why we named it something else.
What about the tight tanks that are in town that we approved over the past
Oh, yes, yeah.
17 or 18 years?
Yeah, you're right. But if it's a failed system and you can't put in a Title V system and it's really close to wetlands, high groundwater, yes, then they may approve a tight tank.
But a tight tank to hold someone until
Sewer comes, they will not approve.
We don't approve them?
No, no.
Oh, that's crazy.
I know.
Because you can put what they're saying is you can put a regular Title V system, which we don't want them to spend the money on if they're going to tie into sewer.
Right.
So we're trying to come up with a temporary solution.
What
And
about the first one, draft deadline to connect buildings to public sewer? Who's going to come up with the deadline?
We drafted up a deadline of 6 months based on input from the DPW.
Who drafted it?
I drafted it after a meeting I had with DPW and Tom Lee. They suggested 6 months. I have my own opinion about that, but I went along with the majority and drafted it as 6 months. But I do have an update. I don't know, is this appropriate to tell me
Yeah,
the
that's
update?
fine.
I asked if sewer is going to be available this spring over by the Strawberry Hill Road area, and the answer from the superintendent of DPW is it's more likely going to be in the fall of this year, in another 6.
Over where, John?
Strawberry Hill Road area that they've been,
Okay.
the first phase, the very first section area. So there's a delay of about 6 months so far. So
That's the one that the wind farm people are applying to have a new contract. They don't want to work under the old contract. So that might even be a lot longer.
So I requested this item on the agenda because I thought sewer would be available in May of 2023. Now you have some time to review this some more. You don't have to adopt this today or next month. You have some more time.
One other thing that I should mention, though, is DPW has hired a communicator, a director of communications, to prepare some package to give it to the homeowner who will be connecting to the sewer. And this supposedly, and I'm thinking that this kind of deadline for connecting to the building sewer should be part of the package. So when she gives the package to the homeowner, they would know what to do for connecting the sewer or for abandoning the septic tank, how to connecting from the house to the main sewer. And all this information should be available on that package, including the financing, how they are going to do that. I think we talk about the financing, and we still don't know what that financing package is, but they should have that information in that package to give it to the homeowner so that he doesn't have to go and trying to find it. So that's
That makes
up and
sense.
coming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's all I have.
You're saying hopefully the board will adopt something before they mail out this package.
Right. The girl is still working on it. I sent her an email last week, and they're still working on it right now.
In the meantime, John Norman wants this on the agenda every month until it's adopted.
So the next hearing is the May 23rd at 3 p.m. Here. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourning at 4:55.
Good job.